Every January, millions of us, probably you, definitely me, we make the exact same mistake. We just hope for a great year. We rely on a little bit of inspiration, a dash of willpower, but the people who really truly thrive, they don't just hope, they build. So let's get into the science-backed system for actually designing your best year ever.
So why do so many of our big goals and New Year's resolutions just kind of fizzle out by February? I mean, we've all been there, right? You start the year with all this incredible energy, but then, well, life happens. That motivation starts to fade, and before you know it, you're right back in those old patterns. But what if I told you the problem isn't you? What if it's not about your willpower at all, but about your whole approach?
And this right here, this is the absolute core of it. The mistake we all make isn't a lack of discipline. It's a lack of structure. Think about it. You would never ever build a house without a blueprint. So why would you try to build your year without one? The real secret is to stop trying to muscle through on inspiration and start relying on a solid, intentional design.
So here's our blueprint. It's a 4-act system, and it's designed to give you practical, real-world tools. We're going to walk through building your foundation, creating your structure, fueling your motivation, and finally, connecting and renewing. And then we'll wrap it all up with one simple thing you can start doing today.
Okay, let's dive in. Act 1, your foundation. It's pretty simple. Before you can build anything that's going to last, you need to know exactly what you're building on and where you're headed. This first part is all about getting crystal clear.
Let's start with a really powerful tool called the regret review. Research shows that the absolute worst way to handle regret is to just ignore it. The best way? To use it. So here's what you do. Identify your single biggest regret from last year. Then, on a fresh piece of paper, you extract the lesson from it and make a plan. And this final step, this is crucial for getting closure, you physically crumple up that page with the regret on it and you throw it away. It's a symbolic act, but it signals to your brain that it's time to move on, keeping only the valuable lesson. See, regret isn't a weakness. It's actually an instruction manual for what to do next.
This next idea is a total game changer because it shifts you from being reactive to being proactive. We all know what a postmortem is, right? It's basically an autopsy on a failure. But a premortem, a concept from psychologist Gary Klein, is something else entirely. You jump ahead in your mind to the end of the year, you imagine your big goal completely failed, and then you ask, why? This lets you spot all the potential obstacles before they even happen, so you can design a year where that failure never even gets a chance.
And to round out your foundation, try these 2 last things. First, pick a one-word theme for your year. Something like build, or simplify, or connect. Psychologists call this a self-cue, and it acts as this simple, powerful little reminder that can instantly snap your focus back to what truly matters. Second, stop thinking of the year as one long, grueling marathon. Instead, break it into 4 90-day seasons. It creates a sense of urgency and makes your progress feel so much more achievable.
All right, with our foundation solid, it's time for Act 2, your structure. You've got the foundation, now you need the architecture. This is all about creating systems that make progress the path of least resistance.
Look at this number. It's pretty staggering. According to a study from the University of London, multitasking first thing in the morning, I'm talking about diving right into your email inbox, can temporarily drop your cognitive performance by the equivalent of 10 IQ points. You are literally making yourself less smart before your day has even really started. And that's exactly why it is so crucial to protect your first hour. Use it for deep, creative, important work, the kind of work that actually moves your priorities forward. Don't just hand that precious, high-energy time over to other people's emails and demands. If you can stack 365 of those protected hours, one after another, you will fundamentally change your year. I guarantee.
Most of us, at the end of a long week, we just slam our laptops shut. But our brains, they keep on working. The weekly shutdown ritual from author Cal Newport is the solution. The goal here isn't to finish everything. It's to give your brain a clear plan for what's coming next, which basically signals that it's safe to disengage and actually rest.
And the final piece of the puzzle is this simple verbal cue. You literally say something like, "shutdown complete," out loud. Now, I know, it sounds a little corny, but trust me, it works. It creates something called cognitive closure, which frees your mind to truly rest and recover over the weekend. And that means you'll have way more creativity and energy for the week ahead.
Okay, so we've got our foundation and our structure. But what happens when that initial January excitement starts to wear off? Act 3 is all about the science of motivation, how you actually fuel your effort for the entire year, not just the first few weeks.
This concept,
which actually comes from research and machine learning, is just brilliant. It turns out that systems learn fastest, not when they're succeeding 100% of the time, but when they're succeeding around 85% of the time. That 15% failure rate isn't a bug, it's the signal for growth. See, if you're always succeeding, the task is too easy. If you're always failing, it's too hard. And the sweet spot for human growth is exactly the same. You want to be stretched, but not snapped.
And living at that 85% mark means you have to get comfortable with this feeling. We're all trained to see discomfort as a stop sign, as a signal to quit. But the science shows it's the complete opposite. That awkward, effortful feeling isn't failure. It's the very feeling of your brain building new connections. It's the emotional signature of learning.
Harvard researcher Teresa Amabile discovered something she calls the progress principle. And what she found was that the single most powerful motivator isn't a big bonus or a ton of praise. It's simply making progress in meaningful work. So here's a super simple habit. At the end of each day, just write down one small win. This little act creates a positive feedback loop that builds absolutely unstoppable momentum over time.
And that brings us to our final act, connection and renewal. Because let's be honest, nobody achieves great things all alone or by just running on empty. This is about the external forces that sustain you and strengthen you for the long haul.
Just think about this for a second. Compliments feel great, but they don't really help you grow. Real, meaningful improvement comes from the people who are willing to tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. This is why you need to be really intentional about who you surround yourself with. Psychologist Adam Grant suggests building what he calls a challenge network. To really thrive, he says you need 3 key people: a challenger to push you, a cheerleader to believe in you, and a coach to guide you. That's your essential trio for growth.
You know, one of the most powerful performance boosters out there isn't about addition at all. It's about subtraction. Instead of another to-do list, try creating a to-don't list. What's that recurring meaning that adds 0 value? What's a habit that just drains all your energy? Seriously, removing one low-value task from your life frees up way more bandwidth than adding 3 new ones.
So there we have it. We've covered the entire blueprint: foundation, structure, motivation, and renewal. But look, a blueprint is completely useless if you don't actually take the first step. So let's make it a really simple one.
What does this number mean? It's not about goals. It's not about tasks. It's about one of the most well-researched and powerful habits there is for improving your well-being. That number, 26, it stands for 26 thank you notes, one for every 2 weeks of the year. Studies by psychologists like Martin Seligman have shown that the simple act of expressing gratitude produces this lasting boost in happiness. It reduces stress, and it deepens your connections with people. It's a simple, powerful practice that benefits you just as much as the person receiving the note. And ultimately, that's what this is all about. A great year doesn't just happen to you. It's not about luck. It's a structure that you design and that you build one day at a time. You have the blueprint now. So the only question left is, what are you going to build first?